Okay. So hi, welcome again. Today I have a Sharpie. I need to change the magenta wheel. So I'm gonna start taking off the head. Two more screws. Okay, so 4 screws to take off the head. Lifts up just like that. You got your motors for your zoom. See it? So, this slides back down. So. So now, you're left with this. This is a kind of prism. Beam shapers and frost. No, this is a beam shaper. This is probably a frost, and I'm not sure. We'll check what it does when I'm done replacing the wheel. You have a fixed color wheel. We're gonna look from underneath in just a second. You have your dimmer that's right here, and your color mixing. So we need to change the middle. Okay, so we need to just loosen those 2 screws. So we just lift from the front. Make sure they're all done all the way. So, oops. There you go. So I'm going to lay this down. Then I'm going to move you guys a little to here. Like this. So I even brought some gloves because I'm gonna have to clean these because the fingerprints everywhere. So this is the dimmer wheel. So this is like fully open and you start to dim until it's completely dark. So we're gonna need to take that one out first. Wrong one. Got 2 set screws. Sometimes you need to wiggle them a little. Like so. So dimmer wheel with the magnet finds its sensor that's right here. Rotates, finds its sensor. So we're gonna put this aside. I'm gonna undo this plate. Yes, it does exactly look like a Max 600. Very true. So we'll take this off. So now we're left with the color mixing. And we need to change the middle wheel. So I'm gonna undo these set screws. And I'm gonna take them out completely. Make sure not to drop them. Okay, is this the good size? Too big? Probably gonna be this one. Okay, so every motor is holding on by 3 screws, which are all slotted. So you can just loosen them a little. And then you can push and play with the motor like this, so you can take off the belt. So we're just gonna flip this over like this. Gonna lay it to the side. And now we're gonna do the same thing with the other motor. We're gonna loosen that. And then the color mixing should lift right up. I'm going to take off this belt, like so, put it aside. And then we're going to need to bring the openings of the wheels in line with the motor shaft, because when you lift up, if you're like this, it's going to hit on the motor and you'll have, so you're better off to simply putting the opening there. Sorry for the compressor, people are working around. So we just lift this up. I'm gonna leave the belt there just to make sure that that goes on this motor, so I don't mix them up with that one. So just gonna lay that one aside. I'm gonna put this tray aside, and then we're gonna look at this. You see it's all dirty. I'm gonna have to wash those. Okay. So there are C-clips. You need this kind of tool to take out. Like so. And then on the other side there's another one. Like so. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my good wheel, lay it here, slide it, like that. And then I'm gonna pull this one out. You see they all separate like this. So this one, and then the other one. Put them like this, and I'm going to check for the orientation just to make sure I don't mix, I don't put it in reverse. So this is the original one. You see the holes for the set screws, the holes. So I'm going to put it like this, so I'm sure how to put it back together. This one had a burn spot, probably from being exposed at the same place for too long period. So I'm just going to put this one aside. And now I'm gonna try and clean these one before assembling everything together, because this one is clean because it's new. So I'm going to put on some gloves. PRG fixtures, the brand no, but we rent from PRG if we're missing some fixtures for our gigs. We'll just call them up and rent, let's say 10 or 20 VLs, whatever. But I've heard they have their own brand, right? They have their own fixtures. We don't have any of those. Okay, gloves. What we use? Roscoe lens cleaner. We use this for all our color mixing, video projectors, anything that's glass with some coating on it. We use this. Oh, you didn't see the brand. Yeah, the Best Boy. I heard about those. So how I usually clean wheels, I'll fold this like this, and then I'm gonna really put a lot of it in this. Then I'm gonna take the wheel, and I'm gonna make sure I wipe everywhere throughout, and I'm gonna leave it so it's a little wet still. And then I'm gonna take a clean one that's dry. I'm gonna work around in circles like this. Rotate. This. I'm gonna do the other side.
Our new power supply that I built, then 200 amps for 13.8 volts.
So, almost done with this one.
I got all my hacker friends too online.
So this is
Cell phone.
very good. So this one went on this side, so I'm just gonna fit it in right away, like this. Oops.
My radar jammer apart, and that. Dismantled it completely out of my beamer. I took all the parts and that. I subbed all the parts and that. I make it like 50 board.
I'm gonna have to go and clean
Make it 50 boards.
in the middle, the hole, because something seems to be sticking. So I'm just gonna clean the other one for now, since I have my gloves on and everything.
About 350 bucks.
So now for this one, I'm gonna weigh this. Let's make sure I don't mix them up. Okay.
So cheers, bro. Yep.
Yeah. You guys are not too bored? I hope not. My job is not always exciting though. I use MPC from Martin. It's the first PC version of the M1, I think, or the Maxes, maybe. So it's a PC version from Martin. So this looks good. Gonna see if it fits underneath. like a glove. So I'm going to put the retainer rings back on. Just push them back in to make sure they clip like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna try and find a way to clean inside that hole. Just a sec. Maybe that's enough to do the trick. Let's hope so. Yeah, learning is always fun. That's the reason I do this so many times. We have a lot of technicians on gigs, and they come back here with busted fixtures, and they're telling us like, I wasted like an hour on this fixture trying to fix it, and then we had to bring out the spare, and with everything that can go wrong. When all the time I'm listening to them, I had an easy fix in my head, and I could have helped them out right there on the spot and would wasted like 10 minutes. So this is it's probably the reason I'm doing this, because I know most of the time the tips I give or the troubleshooting stuff I do will help other people. So I think that's the good part of it. That's the plus. Receiving the comments and messages saying that you guys saved my life. I was stuck in the rig, and then I was able to fix the fixture. Show went on. So that's a paycheck right there for me. Knowing that I helped somebody out. So. Okay, this one is starting to be stubborn a little. There. Okay, so this is done. So I'm gonna put the retainer ring on top. See, you hear the click when they snap. So this is done. We'll be able to assemble the fixture again. So I'm going to bring back the rest of the module. So. I'm going to see how it looks. Like that. Okay, so remember that we need the openings aligned, and we're gonna put the set screws on top, so it's gonna go like this. So I'm gonna take the belt now, put it right like this, and then bring that down. You need to pass, in order here, like so. To make sure that the belt is still in the gear, because sometimes when you pull it down, the belt will slip and it'll be on the shaft instead of around the gear. So now we're gonna tighten this. Like so. And you see everything spins freely. We're gonna try every wheel to make sure everything is smooth. Okay, so I'm gonna put the top belt. Like so. Pull on the motor. And then for the last screw, you're gonna need once again to find the spot, tighten this, take the little set screws to make sure that it stays on the shaft. How does the middle wheel get rotated? Exactly with these set screws. If you remember, I'm gonna take the old one. The shafts are attached to the magenta wheel, the middle wheel. The shaft is attached to it. So when you slide it down the motor shaft, like this, and then you put the set screws on, so you're gonna fix that wheel to the motor shaft. So there's a motor in the middle. This shaft here is from a motor that's underneath. So when you rotate the shaft, the magenta wheel will spin. And then you have the top belt for the top wheel, and you have the second belt that we did right underneath here for the bottom wheel. So the middle wheel is those two set screws that locks the middle wheel to the shaft. So the other two wheels just spin freely around the shaft here, but since the set screws are there, the middle shaft will turn this wheel. So yeah, that's pretty clever. That's a nice way of building it. First time I see it like this, and it's a cool thing, and it's really easy to take apart as long as you know, there's not too much dirt in there and you're having trouble taking everything out. If the fixture is well maintained, usually it'll be pretty easy to take them apart. Maybe you have trouble like I just had putting everything back together to make sure that it doesn't stick or anything. But usually this seems like a pretty cool concept. So we have a fixed color wheel. Also, there's probably a magnet under the wheel somewhere. So when it comes in line with the sensor here, that's a Hall effect sensor. So that's how it finds its home position. And on the other side here, we have all the motors, prism. I'm not too sure what the difference, you know, what these does, but we'll test the fixture in a minute, so we will be able to see what it does. So, still have a couple of things to put back together. So now I'm gonna put this. Don't slip, don't slip. Okay. Nice and tight. Okay. So now we slide back the dimmer on top of everything. You know, you look at it and you try to make sure that it's not crooked too much. Because when you wiggle it out, it's always it bends stuff a little. So now I'm gonna fix this one. I had a little trouble taking it out too. So this happens every once in a while. Make sure nothing on the shaft. There you go. Put a little muscle into it. Something's really weird. Supposed to be a spacer there. Yeah, I don't see it. Maybe it got lost. There's supposed to be two. Qualifications. What I do have is a degree. It's not a college, it's not a university. They call it professional. It's like a professional education degree. It's a separate school you go to, and you're 100% of the time doing electronics. You don't have any English, you don't have any philosophy or anything like that. You're straight into what you want to learn. So you have mechanics, also you have how do you say that in English? Travel agent. You have all types of courses like that you can take, and electronics was one of them. So it was 2 years, and we learned everything from CD players to televisions to microwave ovens. But to repair lighting fixtures in particular, what I always suggest is that people try to find someone big rental company and start working there in the lighting department, like the guys here that are putting the list together, you know, for the gigs go out, 15 VLs, 13 Max and whatever, they all put that shit together, they test it, and then they roll them out. But they also do all the maintenance on it, all the cleaning on it, and they get all the technical trainings from every manufacturer. So everyone here has been trained by Roby, by Claypacky, by vari-lite, and so on. So just working in a lighting department at a rental company, you can get very far. So after a year or two, once you're comfortable with the fixtures you have, the models you have in stock, you can become quite efficient and become a pretty good tech, you know. So there's no real electronics class or whatever that's going to be focused exactly on lighting fixtures. But with basic electronics knowledge, and if you're good at observing and looking and, you know, mechanical stuff and seeing why this doesn't spin right or is something, you know, crooked somewhere. So a lot of things we do is visual. So you open the fixture, you start the test sequence, or you just boot it up, and just by hearing and looking at the fixture doing its reset and everything, you can see right there what's wrong most of the time. So usually it's mechanical, and somebody with a good observation will do pretty well. So if you work in a rental company like us, we got guys here in the service department who were on the rental side. Me for myself, that's where I started out. I'm having a little trouble with this goddamn wheel, so shouldn't take too long. I don't see why it's rubbing against something it's not supposed to be. So, like I said, mechanical stuff all the time.
I'm happy I got that. That's one of the bigger jobs I've done so far here.
So yeah, learning on the spot is the best way. And usually rental companies will train their their employees, they'll send them, or they'll bring someone from, let's say, Claypacky, come over and train the staff. So you can become quite good without having studied anything. Because usually, it's pretty straightforward, and when it's electronics and it's really too deep on the components level, we don't get schematics from the manufacturers. They keep their designs close to them, so they don't like to give out that information. So usually when it's down to components level, we just replace PC boards and stuff like that. We don't bother really to go and troubleshoot and take like 3 hours to figure out how a circuit is built. So we usually just replace PC boards. So electronics, with your meter and going and calculating voltages and stuff, we don't do that much in lighting. And in audio, you'll do that a lot with the audio consoles, all the FX processors and everything. You'll go down to components level. We have a guy here who is awesome at that. He knows everything in audio. We all have our specialties. So I think really that learning on the spot is the best way. So I can't seem to find why this dimmer isn't working properly. Try to tighten it there, and then we'll put it back together and I'll see if it works. Because I think the magnet is pretty far from the sensor. I'm not sure that it's going to see it. Oh, nice. Nice degree there, Riley. Do you work in the field, or are you like a field technician, or you're just interested in lights? Okay, so I'm gonna... nice. Well, good luck. Move to Canada, we got plenty of work here. So I'm gonna put back the camera on the fixture. Okay, like so. It shouldn't be too bad. So now, putting it back in, you need to locate where the two captive screws are, because they're gonna fit. They're gonna lock the tree here. So this one is gonna go this way. Like that.
Why do you get so hot?
Well, that's cool, Riley. So you have a lot of experience, so you shouldn't have too much trouble to get back into the field, I think. Should be fairly easy for you. It's very cool. Okay, so this is done. We're gonna put the head back on like this. I'm gonna take out my gloves because I'm starting to get hot.
you go. You should have nothing from the underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
what,
on
what,
here.
what he can do, actually, what he can do, actually, they think of more sticking
Sometimes they're hard to align
Yeah.
wire it and put it on,
because you're always like crossed like this. You're not straight. I have an
Do a
extension,
new
but I
quote
don't
like
want
that. You
to use
should
it.
have moved your IC down here.
All those hours.
Well, I have some other ports if you want.
So you guys are all overseas, right? You're all UK and
just extend the wiring, just take it out.
overseas.
Extend the wiring, put this board
There.
or you can leave it there.
Well, keep your hopes up, Riley. Any experience is good, you know?
Yeah, that's it. That's my thing.
What you have, you have.
Put this thing here. Make sure it's insulated. Just beat the leg
Yeah.
frame. I don't know, maybe the leg.
Oh yeah, sure, I will.
frame is-
You will see them move. This one is a wash. Maybe it'll move just a little slower, but you'll be surprised, I think. Okay, almost done. Okay, so power.
Oh yeah, just yeah.
Okay, so we shall see.
That's it. After break.
I'm just looking to see if we're gonna get a dimmer error because I couldn't get the wheel down enough. I think there was too much space between the magnet and its sensor. So I can't wait to see if it's good or not. So far so good. Oh, prism, no sensor. Well, I'll look into that a little later. So just for a quick demo, I'm going to try to get the light on. Okay. Let's see in what mode it is. Then DMX. Do we have? Yes, we do. Bring that down. So you want it, sorry, to see the speed. Faster. So is that fast enough? That can hurt. I won't put my head back. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this. So there's feedback, of course, on pan itself. So if somebody accidentally bumps the fixture on stage, it goes back to where it was. Almost every fixture has that now. So I'm just gonna try and get the lamp. And I'm going to try and move the prism. The dimmer is working. So I'm going to try and beam the fixture on the wall, and I'm going to turn the camera. Like this. This way. And I'll bring you guys over. So yeah, that's pretty bright. I'm gonna bring the it's a little less annoying. So we got the strobes. Cyan, magenta, yellow, fixed color wheel, and then what else do we have? The zoom. And just so you see, it's the whole cannon in the front that moves. So this is narrow, wide. I'm gonna leave it narrow. The beam shaper, and okay, that was the one with all the little lines in it. So it's a shaper, and we can rotate it like so. I'm gonna take it out. We also have a light frost. I don't know if you see much of a difference, but I'm not sure about the utility for that. A frost and a wash fixture. So it's a light frost. And then we have a kind of a second frost, heavy frost. Okay. It says prism error, but in my parameters I don't have any prism, so they probably mean that one of the beam shapers sensors is not good. So now it's 10 past 10. I'm way past due for my cigarette break. And plus this fixture is over. So I'm gonna just end this video. So it will, YouTube will save it and put it in my, on my channel. So if you guys want to watch it later or see something again, it'll be available there. So I don't want to do like 3 hours in a row where I do like 4 fixtures or anything, because I want people to be able to go back and look and find the models that they were interested by. So I'll try to do just videos from fixture from a single model at a time, so it'll be a lot easier for you guys after to go back and see in the title, you know, what you want to see. So I'm gonna stop this for now. Thank you guys for being there. I'm gonna go take a little break, and I'll do a little check up again to see what the sensor problem is, and then I'm gonna bring out another fixture and I'll probably start broadcasting again. So I'll post it on Facebook when I'm going live. So if you check my Facebook page, you'll be able to see that there. So thanks for watching, and it's just till later because I'll be back soon. Thanks again.